G'day YouTube and welcome to the channel. In this episode we'll be rejuvenating this well used and much loved Lesney Matchbox No. 55 Mercury commuter police car. As you can plainly see, this baby's been around the block a few times, had a few accidents. Looks like it's been stepped on or driven over. Probably the worst condition of a car I've restored so far. Probably the last car before Christmas, and maybe have a little family Christmas challenge which I'll release on Christmas Day. Quick closer inspection just to see what we're in for. Yeah, seen some high speed chases this one. Those wheels are pretty much buggered, but I have no option but to try and restore them. Can't get replacements for them. And look at that, I didn't realise the tailgate opened on these things, or does it? Well, let's get straight into it. First thing to do is to run a 1.5mm hole through the posts so we can tap it and put screws in. And taking the tops off these rivets so the whole thing can come apart for us. Just wedging a small screwdriver and off she pops. Hang on, that tailgate doesn't open. It's actually been broken off when it's been squashed. Anyway, we'll learn some new skills and repair that. A bit grotty, but we'll clean that up without any problems at all. And no rivets holding the windscreen in, which is probably a good thing because it would have certainly been smashed to bits when it was squashed. And here come these little lights. And we'll put all the bits and pieces in this Chinese takeaway container which I've saved. Keep everything in the one place so nothing goes missing. Man, these wheels have done a few Ks. Just damaged that suspension piece there, just cracked it and broke it a little bit. Nothing that a drop of super glue won't fix. Here's the tailgate in my vise, which has been protected by felt. Just going to run a tap through it so I can put an M2 screw, because we've got to put it back together at some stage. And here's my tap with the tip cut off it so I can get a little bit extra depth. Matching the paint's fairly easy exercise with this one. Just need to dumb it down just a little bit with the tiniest drop of black. In goes the boiling water into a pre-warmed vase. This method has worked pretty well for me so far, so I'm going to stick with it. And it's a pretty spectacular way to do it as well. I'm wearing some pretty thick gloves and I'm staying well back from it because the boiling water alone would give you a nasty burn. Needed a second go on the boiling water, so this is take two. Just going to reattach the tailgate now. Now I've cleaned up the broken ends with the wire brush, so we've got a nice fresh surface to work with, and I'm using this super glue, which is a gel which I used to use to glue on touring car tyres for remote control racing. Making sure I've got it aligned properly, and then I'm just going to use the vise to clamp it all together. Learning new skills all the time. Here's another trick I've seen on YouTube. We put a nice big blob of CA glue on the where it was broken, and for a bit of extra strength, use a bit of bicarb soda. Yeah, I've seen different builders use this method to actually make bits and pieces of body that's been broken off or is really badly damaged. And now we'll just leave that to think about it overnight. Here we are the next day, we'll see if it's held together, and it has, just like I bought one. Here's the Dremel-like tool and a wire brush, and we'll give that body a really good clean up. A lot of damage on this casting. It's obviously been a few high-speed accidents, plus a lot of casting marks. I'll do my best to clean up what I can with a small file. I'll do my best to get the file marks out of it, just using some very fine, I think it's 1200 wet and dry. The body's had a shot of, to me, a fine primer in grey, so I can see what I'm painting, as the car is obviously white. And while it's drying, I'm just going to clean up all these interior bits and pieces, and the wheels. These poor old wheels have had a hard life, and the axles as well. I just could not get this one straight, so I've decided I'm going to have a go at making a new axle. So I'm just going to measure the length. Just to be sure I'm measuring the other axle as well, just to be sure that they're the same length. And the thickness of the axle. I'll see if I can find something that is close. I'm going to use this great big dressmaker's needle. Oops, careful, don't stab yourself, Dino. I found this one which was about the right size, but it just wasn't long enough. These axles are going to be just too small to try and burr the ends, so I went down to the local Spotlight and I found these little tube beads which are used for jewellery making. Right, a drop of the gel super glue on the end of the axle, and put it in the hole. Voila, we have an axle. See if I can clean up these wheels a little bit with a bit of wet and dry while the glue has a chance to set. These axle ends are just way too big as they are, so I'll carefully grind them down. That's turned out pretty well. Another new skill learned. I'm going to try and buff up these wheels. They really are a mess. It'd be nice if you could get some reproduction ones. I spent a lot of time on these wheels and they just really did not come up that great. Getting some of the deeper scratches out of the windscreen, just with some 1200 wet and dry and some soapy water. I then buffed it with the rotary tool, some acrylic polish and a woolen pad. Sorry I didn't get that on video. And here's the body, looking splendid in some fresh white paint. I'm applying some stickers now, decals I would have preferred, but I've got some stickers. And these are from the 1971 model. Taking to the base with the wire wheel and the Dremel tool again. See if we can get a nice deep polish on it, paying particular attention to the rear bumper and the grille. Got some metal polish and a toothbrush. Better get your teeth clean. Wouldn't taste real nice though. Looking better. The Dremel lock tool gets pressed back into action. Got some metal polish and a buffing wheel. Probably getting a bit carried away now, but we'll give it one last go. And finally we give it a really good buff with a microfiber cloth. And old becomes new again. Tempting to re-chrome the wheels again, just using a chrome pen which I've pumped out and a fine brush. These will be then dipped in some self-polishing floor wax and then buffed, and hopefully they'll look okay. Everything's been repainted and polished. It's time to reassemble. Like my new white cotton gloves, that should keep me from getting my greasy fingerprints all over everything. These are M2 screws, 4mm long, going into the post which I've tapped. Got them off eBay. All done. A quick look on where we started from. This poor car has been well loved and abused throughout its life. And here it is, rejuvenated. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's a big improvement. I just can't seem to get that high gloss finish with my clear coat that you see with a lot of other builders. It's trial and error. I've got a few ideas. Be really nice if someone makes some reproduction wheels for this as well. I seem to waste a lot of time trying to clean these wheels up, and they're not that convincing, I don't think. I also need to invest in some body putty to fix some of the major flaws that you get in some of these die-cast cars, but overall it looks really good. And it's found a spot in its new home in my cabinet with my other cars I've restored. Anyway, if you've made it this far, thanks for watching. Give us a like or a dislike if you don't like what I'm doing. Merry Christmas to everyone. I think my skills are slowly improving, and I'm looking forward to starting the next restoration. Until then, all the best for Christmas, and I'll see you on the next one.